there. Welcome to Tuesday Talk. I'm Levon, and tonight we are going to take a regular old journal that you get from the Dollar Tree. We're going to make it very beautiful. So I've done this a lot. Like I said, this comes from the Dollar Tree, so we know it costs $1. And I have, by the time I'm done transforming it, I sell them in my store for $10 a piece. So I've sold them on Etsy before, so they're always pretty popular. So we're gonna start with our amazing casting resin. This is the 2-part epoxy. You can also do this with modeling material, and we're going to be using a mold. So let's get the 2-part epoxy mixed up. I'm going with the 2-part epoxy because it doesn't shrink. So we'll apply it and it won't shrink. So you guys have seen me do this before. So 2-part epoxy, amazing casting resin, has a part A and a part B. And you use equal parts and you mix them together. And in about 20 minutes, it forms hard as a rock mold. So whatever you put in your mold. So I'm going to put the screen down. I've already measured out the equal parts in my yogurt cup here. Cups. So we'll go ahead and put these into one. And I hope I measured right. It's really hard sometimes to see. It seems like I have a lot more part B. We've had this problem before. So, but we're going to go with it. And I'm just taking a regular paintbrush handle, and it turns white and then it gets clear. So when it gets clear, it gets cloudy, I should say, and then it goes clear. And when it's clear again, it's time to pour your mold. So we're looking pretty good. That part really doesn't take long. So I am using this part of my mold, the big flourish. So I'm going to go ahead and get it poured. I've also done this with the modeling material, and I usually have a hard time getting this one out of the mold. You can use cornstarch in them. I usually don't have to with modeling material, but I feel like I always mess this one up. So we're just gonna go with amazing casting resin and call it a day. Okay, I have some extra left, so I'm gonna just pour this little mold here. Don't know what we'll use that for. We probably won't use it tonight, but we'll have it. And I see this is kind of low over here, so we'll go ahead and fill in a bit. And looks a little low over here. Sometimes it's hard to tell. I think I'm gonna go a little bit more over here. When the table's not level too, that makes a difference because I know that's happened before. But really, this is pretty forgiving, and you will not be able to tell if the mold is messed up. Okay, so I went a little bit over here. We'll be able to fix that. Okay, so I'm going to quit pouring because I don't have any extra molds to pour into. But I do feel like we're terribly uneven here. You've watched this happen before, too. It's really cool the way it will go. It'll just get white when it's starting to firm up. So I'm going to go ahead and put this out of the way a little bit. It's always a little tricky when it's still wet. So I have some down here. So I might want to put something down on here so I don't have a mess. I have a notebook here, so I'm going to grab a piece of paper from it. Make a lot of noise doing it. But I'll just put that down here. Okay, so open this up a little bit. So we have on the journal the easy peel sticker. It says it's easy peel. We'll see. These don't have as much texture as they used to. That wasn't so easy. Yeah. These, it looks like alligator kind of, but it's real smooth, and they used to come with some texture on them. So I guess a cheaper version, but okay. So that's what we're starting with, is just a plain blank book. So there's lined pages inside. Now, it's pretty plain inside, so we make it a little bit more fancy. Tonight we're gonna line these inside pages, and then we're gonna go ahead and paint it. So I'm gonna wait until I get the mold on there before I do too much painting. But we have this really pretty paper that we're gonna use to line the inside with. And we won't be using this whole thing. I got this in Bedford, I think at Founders Crossing. They had a whole bunch of these papers. They're just kind of like a photocopy on a large sheet of paper. And I thought they would be great for decoupage on furniture. So I was looking for some decoupage paper tonight for this project, and I thought, oh, this will be perfect. So what I'm going to do, let me go ahead and put the screen down again. And do you see how this is turning white? So it's starting to set up. Okay. So what I'm going to do is open the journal up to the inside, and I'm going to figure out what image I want where. So I think what we can do is cut along the inside here and then figure out where we want it from there. So as soon as I find my scissors, here they are. I'm just going to cut this little border off around the edge. And then I'll show you how we just kind of shape this to get where we want it. Trying to be as neat and straight as possible. I don't think it was copied exactly straight. I'm going to go ahead and cut this whole side off. So I hope your day is going well. I had a busy day. It started pretty early. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and finish cutting this whole border off because the other part that I want to use is in the other corner. So I had a really fantastic day. I got to meet some young entrepreneurs. They are high school students, juniors and seniors, and the event was called the CEO Roundtable, and they got to ask some questions. 5 of us business owners got to present to them, and then we broke out in groups and had some up close and personal conversations with them, and they're just a fantastic group of young entrepreneurs. So, okay, so I've cut the border off, and I'm just going to kind of put this. I see I cut it off kind of crooked, so let's go over here where it says postcard. I think that'll be pretty anyway. And it's starting to say mother on there too. So, so what we'll do is we'll just kind of fold it back. Just so we get a good measurement. This whole piece is incredibly crooked, but that's okay. We're going to work with it. The paper is kind of heavy, which is sometimes good, you know, when you're working with projects like this. And you can use a craft glue or, you know, tacky glue or anything to attach this. I actually, I'm just going to use some super glue tonight with it. Okay, I'm going to make this a little bit smoother, because when I folded that, with this paper being so thick, it kind of left a fold in there. If you come on and you want to say hi, please do so. I'd love to hear from you. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. Just kind of use my nail and mark it. I'm actually flipping it over so I can see it from the other side. It'll be a little easier to see. And then we're going to do the same thing along here. Just going to run my nail along there to mark it. And word of caution, don't get your paper in your epoxy. Okay, so we have the piece that we're going to use for our front cover. And then let's go ahead, might as well get all the cutting done at one time and get the piece done for the back cover. So I really like these roses, so I want to see that. And again, I didn't cut that one real straight, but we'll make up for it. We'll make it right. Okay, I'm going to use my nail. And same thing, just kind of, actually I'm perforating the paper here. Cool, that worked out well. All right, so I think I have to straighten that up a tad. Let's see how this fits. That looks good. I have to just fix this bottom here a little bit. I also got some vellum from Wish, vellum pockets. I actually don't have them here. I wish I did, because that would be really cute. Because, you know, you don't just have to leave this journal blank. I mean, it's nice to have a blank book, but you can do, if you've ever heard of a junk journal, you can do that with it and put all kinds of things inside it. So I have never done one of those, and I'm anxious to try one. So sometime we'll do a junk journal. Okay, I'm just using a little super glue. I want to make sure that this is in good position. I'm just putting some of this out here. I want to get it kind of close to the edges. As you know, with super glue, once it sticks, it sticks. A little stinky. Okay, but it's nice and smooth. It doesn't come out lumpy at all. All right, so we have the back glued. So let's get this front section glued. Let's make sure it's all lined up. I hope I'm not running out of glue. That would not be good. I do have some wood glue here, which I could use, but I don't know that I am able to get it open, which is why I resorted to the super glue in the first place. I think we'll be okay here. This is another thing you can get at the Dollar Tree. You get like 4 tubes, I think, in a package for $1. Okay, it's not down there very good. Just another drop or two, please. Figure if I talk to it nicely, it'll cooperate, right? I think we're good. All right. Okay, so our mold is getting nice and firm. The white sections are the most dense sections, actually set up the fastest. So surprisingly, okay. I always say that every time I make a mold, like I'm surprised again. I'm not, but I think it's just kind of funny that that's the way that does it. Okay, so what we're gonna do, as I mentioned, I wanted to wait until we get the mold done to paint the whole piece, but I do want to start working on the inside because I don't like the way that is like that orangey colored, because we're going to paint the whole thing. So I want to take a little detail brush and actually we'll use the one that we're going to use for the paint and just go ahead and line, just paint around that area. So we're using Dixie Belle's buttercream, and that's a pretty yellowy white. Go ahead and put this down so you can see what I'm doing. But this is just a nice little flat brush, and I'm just going to go along the edge. And cover up this orangey alligator crocodile print. So I'm super excited. We are getting more and more subscribers. I'm going to say 10 or 11 away from 500. So halfway to our goal of 1,000, so we can have better videos on Tuesday nights when we're live. And once we reach that 500, I'm going to announce a giveaway that we're going to do. So you'll have to stay tuned for the details on that. It'll be fun. And even if you're already subscribed, you can still win. We're going to give away $500 worth of products, all in paint, Dixie Belle paint, and also in molds and all kinds of fun stuff. It'll be a nice giveaway. So, as I always say, share these videos. The more you share, the more we can do fun stuff like that. Okay, so I just kind of flip that side and continue on the back. We may want to do a second coat on here. If you still see that showing through, you might want to do that. Or we may end up using an accent color or some wax on there and it won't be noticeable. I brought some really cool products home to work with tonight. Some things that you're probably not used to seeing on Tuesday Talk. So Dixie Dirt is one of them. And I also brought home the chameleon waxes and some gilding waxes. So just kind of having some fun and playing with some products tonight. I'm doing one of my favorite projects. I've been doing these journals for a long time. And only recently I started putting the lining in it. And that really just ups the value of it, I think. The beauty of it for sure. I love a blank book. Oh my gosh, I'm a nerd. Yeah, nerd. I am a nerd. A notebook person. I'm just going to go along the edges here. Okay. So before it didn't matter which direction we held the book, but now that we have put the liner paper in, that determines whether there's a top or a bottom or a front or a back. So clearly now this is the front. So we're going to save that side to work on, but we might as well go ahead and paint the back. And we can open it up when we go to put on our mold. So I'm pretty sure we're going to need a second coat on that because you can see the coverage isn't real solid, as with anything on a first coat. Just like when we paint furniture, usually needs a second coat, if not a third coat, just for coverage. This is the most relaxing part of my day. I don't get to do this every day, and this is the stuff I love to do. So I just love Tuesday Talk for that reason, because I get to take some time with you and make a little project. Okay, my mold is probably soon ready to take out. I'm going to set this aside a minute. Okay. Put the lid on this a second. Let's see. Okay, so clearly my table, as I mentioned, is not level. Because over here, we have a real shallow end to the mold, and then the rest is really thick. I'm not sure that we're ready to unmold. You know me, I'm always impatient. So we're going to have to let this go a little bit. It's getting there. But it bums me out that I had this spillage. Another thing, too, if I didn't have a real even mix, then that can affect it, too. So I don't know if taking the hairdryer to it will speed it up. Usually in the heat, it does. So I'm just going to do that for a minute and see what happens. Okay, let's see what happens. I'm always trying something new, right? Still don't think it's ready to unmold. So it feels nice and smooth on the top, but it's just these little sections that aren't quite there. Usually once I get one part to start, then the rest will follow. But I don't think we're there yet. Okay, I'll stop. Okay, what we can do is we can put our second coat on, even though it's not quite dry, but you know how chalk paint goes pretty quick. I'll just put the hairdryer on it real quick. That way the back of it will be done. Okay. Then we'll go ahead and take another trip around the inside here, because I really think for the best coverage, that's going to look the best. Oh, I just love this rose in here. I think that's beautiful. I knew I loved this paper when I saw it. There's some other cool ones. There's like a set of eyeglasses, like a vintage optician. Um, so that one's pretty cool. I'd love to put that one on a piece of furniture. I think there's an Easter one. I already have paint on this shirt, so if I get more on it, it's no big deal. I was kind of dressed up today, so when I came home, I really wanted to be comfortable. Let's try to get that little piece at the end of the spine there. Trying to get good coverage in there. Yeah, this second coat makes a big difference. And I'm even kind of okay with getting a little bit of that paint on the image. Just a little bit. It kind of looked cool when I did that, but kind of made it look like all one piece. But the spine again. It would look pretty to put a mold on the spine as well. And I have done that before with different books. You know, you don't just have to use these books. You can use, just discarded books that are a little bit bigger, or, you can buy books at the Dollar Tree, again, that are brand new books or bigger, that have printing in them. You might want to read them first, maybe not, I don't know. But you can reuse those ones too. There's all kinds of people on YouTube that just always do Dollar Tree things. They take high end things from like stores like Pottery Barn and West Elm, and they recreate them using things from the dollar store, the Dollar Tree. And it's just amazing. And I swear they get paid every time they say Dollar Tree, because they say it all the time. Okay, so that's pretty good coverage on there. Let's set that aside a minute. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to check on the mold. Patience is not one of my virtues. I'm just trying to get one of these sides to pull away a little bit, and then I think I can get it out. Okay, this is some of my excess spillage on the side there. I'm just pulling away. And the bottom of the mold is starting to come out with it. So this is either going to be a good thing or not. We'll see. We'll find out. I'll try it with this small mold first. Okay, so I have the small mold. You can't see what I'm doing, huh? I have the small mold out, and I'm just going to take my scissors here a second and just cut. I cut that excess away. And while it's soft, I'm going to go ahead and go around the mold and just cut it. Cut the excess away, because once it gets really hard, that will be hard to remove. Not impossible, but just the more you do, the harder it gets, the harder it will be. Sounds really natural, right? I have some lives coming up. I'm going to be doing a live on the Dixie Belle page on February 15th. And it's like at 6 in the morning Eastern Standard Time. I guess they do that because they have people watching all over the world. So Chris Donna is in Germany, and she's actually going to be monitoring the page. So I'm really excited about that. Okay, so that's that part of the mold. So let's see how we do with the rest. Let's see if it'll all pull out. Oh, I don't know. I don't have a good feeling about this section. Oh, okay, so I see what's happening. That's my excess mold. And again, I apologize, you can't see. Okay. Still kind of soft. And this is kind of weird for this one. I think it's just kind of had a weird mix. And that's on me. I need to get proper measuring. Once I do it the first time, I tend to throw away the cups. And then I'm guessing in these yogurt cups that you can't really see right in. I just went in there and I'm trying to dig it out. Because I know the mold will be okay. At least I feel sure. Feel confident about it. I'm sorry you can't see, but I also just trying to make sure it doesn't rip, that I'm getting it in a good spot. So I've got some of it pulled, and a lot of it's pulling away, and I think it's going to be fine. But I just have to get this one spot. It's kind of crucial. Okay, that one kind of messed up a little bit because it was so shallow filled in the mold. But I think we can finesse that and cut it a little and make it okay since it's so flexible right now. Because I'm pushing the issue, as always. Okay, sorry I'm doing this away. It's you're not supposed to work this hard, so it's my bad. Was impatient and also didn't think I have a good mix of molds. Um, so this is kind of how to fix what you shouldn't have done. I'm gonna have to trim a lot of this mold, but as soon as we get it out here, we can inspect it a little bit more. And we're almost there. Yay. Okay, it's out. Now you can see right now it's super flexible. So let's inspect it. I'm going to give you a close-up look here. Okay, and I'm going to take a look and see what areas sort of need trimmed away. And again, it's really not supposed to work this way. But I've worked with these molds enough, or the epoxy enough by now, that I can tell kind of what I can get away with and what I can't. So as long as I'm not starting fires, or worried about starting a fire like I did, this summer, or didn't actually start a fire, but was concerned about it. And if you were with me, you'll remember I ran outside with my epoxy and threw it in the yard. Then went out in the morning and all was good, but just got on nervous. Okay, so that one, I'm just going to set it, I'm going to look at the mold a minute and see if that's supposed to be on. Yeah, it is. Okay. It's looking pretty good. Okay, there's a little extra stuff over here. Let me get rid of a little bit. And the thing is, it's a flourish, so you're not like that one area that's stuck in the mold up here. I'm just going to trim this off, and we won't miss that because you don't really know that it's supposed to have another curl in it, Get that out of the mold. So I have my contacts in, so I'm like, by the end of the day, not seeing real well. So kind of like everything looks white to me right now. So boy, glue again. I don't have the super glue, so I'm gonna have to. So you get to watch me struggle opening the glue. This will be fun. Okay, so when you're gluing molds on, there's a bunch of different glues you can use. You can use E6000. You can use wood glue. You can use tacky glue. I think that's part of the mold. Let's see. Just trying to get rid of any excess here. believe I hear a motorcycle, and it sounds so cold to have to be out on a motorcycle. My son just bought one. Maybe he brought it over to show me. Okay. All right, this one section has me a little confused. Oh, I think it was supposed to stay connected, but that's okay. Once I get it glued on here, it's going to be fine. Okay, that back is still a little wet. I'm going to let that dry a little and try to get the glue open. So I think that we're just clogged up here. I hope that's all. Before we got started, I was trying to get the glue ready. Then I thought, oh, that's all right. I'll use the super glue. But I wasn't thinking about attaching the mold. So I may just go crazy and cut this because it is full of glue, but I can't get the top off. I could try some hot water, but I don't know if that'll work. It's just stuck in here. I'm sure you don't want to watch me play with the glue container all night. But we'll try. I'll try to get it going here. Hopefully. Let's see what we got. Come on. So it wouldn't be appropriate if I didn't mess something up, guys. You know that, right? I feel like something's happening. I can hear stuff breaking up in there, which is all good, I think. I think I see some glue. We may see glue all over the place in a minute. Hey, we have glue. Okay, so we want to put a good bit on. And we're going to make sure that we get it the whole way to the edges. So I like to just get in there with my fingers and take the glue the whole way to the edge. You want it to lay flat. It's especially important too when you're working with furniture as well. You just want the whole thing to bond to your piece. Okay, so I'm going to flip this over. And position the mold on here. So we're it's good that it's flexible because we're kind of manipulating it so that it fits completely on the cover. If it was completely solid, we wouldn't be able to do that. So sometimes unmolding it before it's really ready is not a bad thing. Also, you can soften them back up again by putting them in the microwave. I've never done that, but I know people say that you can do that. So if you were going to put your mold like on the corner of a piece of furniture, it was curved or something, that's when that would be useful to do that. Okay, so I'm just making sure all these edges have made contact, and I have glue that is squeezing out the sides, and I'm going to come back in here. I'm going to run out to the kitchen and dampen a little paper towel, and so I didn't grab any, and just get all that excess glue as soon as I get this here all contacted. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm just going to go grab the paper towel. You can stare at this book. Okay, and I'm back. Thanks for waiting. All right. I still kind of want to force this part of it down. If I get rid of some of this excess glue, then that'll help because it won't be kind of sliding on that sea of glue. And if I don't get all of the glue, it won't matter that much because it'll dry, and it might even give the paint a little bit of a crackle, which would be kind of cool. There are no mistakes when you're doing things like this. So I hope you guys follow along on social media, and I don't know whether you saw the pictures that I posted from the Saturday's Advanced Techniques class that we had at La Vintage Decor. Oh my gosh, I can't get over how fantastic their projects turned out. We took chair seats that I had left over from, I had taken 3 chairs and made a bench out of it. So we have the leftover seats. So we used them, we put eye hooks in them and chain. So it would be a wall piece. And they practiced blending and transfer and all these techniques on there, and oh my gosh, they just turned out gorgeous. I was really super impressed and pleased with them. Okay, gonna get the hair dryer out here a second, give it a little bit of dry time here. Put the paper towel a little bit too. Okay, so here's how it looks now on the book. But once we get it painted out, then we'll be able to embellish it a little bit further and bring out all the details in this mold. So we'll save this one for another project, another time. I'm going to go ahead and dry this real quick. It didn't take long. I feel like that's on there really solid. Okay, so let's open the paint back up, get back to it. And so we're just gonna paint all around here and paint the piece, paint the mold. This is going to be pretty. The last one I did, I think I might have done it in vintage duck egg, and then I waxed it. It was so pretty. Like I said, I listed it and it sold quickly because I had I put paper on the inside of that too, floral. It was just so delicate, really pretty. These are great gifts. Who wouldn't like to write in this? Great teacher's gifts. I hope it doesn't look like just a white lump on your screen. Hope you can see what we're doing. You'll see the detail here very, very soon in it because we're going to accentuate it. Okay. Isn't that pretty? It's really looking good, right? Okay. I'm going to get the hairdryer a little bit more because we're going to give it another quick coat and then we can do the fun stuff. Right, second coat. We're just going right through this project, right? And if you want to do these for gifts, you can certainly do them kind of assembly line style. You can mix up a bigger batch of epoxy, but of course, if you're going to use the same mold, then you have to do small batches. You don't want to waste any of your epoxy, so you want to have the molds ready to accommodate them. Just want to make sure that we get all of these details in here. Going to be working on site in a customer's home tomorrow. I'm painting my first kitchen with silk, the new all-in-one mineral paint from Dixie Belle. We've already been painting the doors, and it's beautiful. The bottom doors, and she's using Cape Current, which is a gorgeous blue. All right, so this looks pretty good. And stick with me. I hate to put you through it one more time, but we're just going to hit it with the hairdryer again. Because we can't wax unless we have it dry, right? Okay. Okay, this is how we're looking, and I think it's beautiful already, but give us a minute and we're going to get it really out of the park here. So I brought gold gilding wax. I also have cactus. These are chameleon waxes, and lilac and apricot. But before we do that, I want to give it sort of an aged finish, and I'm going to use Dixie dirt. So I'm going to kind of use that in conjunction with one of the waxes, because the dirt really won't have anything to hold on to unless it has a wax on there first. So I'm going to use, talk about messing up scissors. I use them for everything under the sun. So I might as well open these containers up. I'm going to keep that with that. Oh, if you could smell these waxes too. Oh my gosh, they smell amazing. Oh, such a good smell. I can't describe what it is either. It's a sweet smell. Just incredible. Okay. So I have my waxes open. And I'm going to kind of, okay, so this is apricot, lilac, and cactus. I'm going to save the gold and do some highlights with that. And I'm just going to use a little detail brush here. And I'm just going to kind of just pick it up and go along some of these details here. And I'm going to go around the edges. Oh, that's pretty. This is like real iridescent. This is the apricot. All right, I'm gonna get a couple brushes going here, but I'm just gonna take this dirt and I'm just gonna kind of work it in here a little bit. And then we're just gonna get rid of the excess. We can even take our fingers and kind of rub it in a little bit. But I'm gonna use a little bit more of this wax just to give that dirt something sticky to hold on to. You can see that is a little iridescent. And I'm not going to get too much more dirt out. I'm kind of going to focus on the outside edges. Okay, let's, I'm going to dip a little bit in this. I think I went to lilac. Okay, let's go back to the dirt. The dirt's just giving us a little bit of depth and interest. Okay, now I'm going to go to the cactus color. These colors, I have found that they come alive on darker colors. Here it's very subtle. It's kind of pretty, but it's really subtle. But we'll get our magic when we put the gold on, I think. Like I said, I don't know that the camera is picking it up, but it's just a real subtle iridescent look on here in these colors. But again, I did it, I used a caviar on a piece of furniture, and oh my gosh, just amazing, the detail, that, or the iridescent. I mean, it just popped. Now the neighbor's dogs are going to bark at me. They go outside and then they can hear me when I'm talking in the dining room. Just going back and forth between the apricot and the lilac, and just giving it a little bit of color, and then giving it a little bit of depth with the dirt, trying to focus the dirt around the edges a little bit. And those areas in between. I don't think I waxed there. Okay, I'm gonna get my paper towel here and kind of work that in a little bit. I kind of really like that shadow that it puts around the edge there. Just makes it look kind of old. Can you see what I'm doing? I don't know that I had any wax in there but I'm working enough in that I think we'll get a result we're looking for. I'm looking for. Because I'm just looking for a real faded kind of look, so it's sort of also sticking to the chalkiness of the paint. I love that little shadow that it's leaving. Just kind of a halo around the book, or the mold there. When I first started, I put it on the details. I kind of got to where I just wanted it around the outside, but it's okay. We can. Okay, I think I'm gonna get a little more of the waxes and put a little bit more on. And like I said, we're gonna hit it with the gold here in a second. And then we're gonna have another pop. Okay, so I'm just gonna take my finger and just kind of work these around a little bit. It's a very, very subtle iridescent look. Oops, if you have the right end of the brush. Very subtle, cool look. All right. Are you liking the way that looks? All right, we've been on a good hour here, so I'm gonna cut it short. Not short, but I'm just going to go ahead and put the finishing touch on here. Are you ready? Okay, so we're just going to use our fingertips here, and this is gold gilding wax. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just go, oh yeah, there it is. Just going to go along the details. Just using my fingertip, and that gold is just picking up all those fine details. Oh, it really looks old and lots of times we end up with a partially finished piece. So you got the whole start to finish piece tonight. And a little bit more gold over here. And there you have it. I'm going to lift this up a second. And wow, I love the way that looks. And then that's what the first page looks like. And then the inside back cover. Oh, there's one last touch that you can do with this, and I didn't think to bring it home, but just get a little ribbon, and you just actually should have probably, we can still slip it in there with some glue in the spine, and then just bring it over, and then you have a bookmark, and that just adds the final finishing touch to this. So I hope you enjoyed this evening, and I hope you will attempt something like this on your own. And of course, you can come get the supplies you need at La Vintage Decor, and you can get them from my website as well. So I hope you have a great rest of your evening and also the rest of your week. Take care. Bye-bye.